Robert Whittaker is going to absolutely touch Rainier de Ritter. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession. I think people are drastically overlooking this fight between Robert Whittaker and RDR. In fact, I think that it's going to be an absolute beatdown from one of the sides, as you can maybe see in the title who I'm leaning towards here. But before we get too carried away and I start on my little rant, or my big rant actually, let's look at the betting odds for this fight. So Robert Whittaker is a minus 175 favorite, and Rainier de Ritter is a plus 150. So honestly, when I first saw this fight being announced, I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be a minus 300 or a minus 250 Robert Whittaker and like a plus 200 RDR. But no, it's actually fairly close, and by that I mean negative 175. The reason why I say negative 175 is fairly close for this fight, mind you, RDR, his best win, actually no, I'm trying to think, is his best win, I think his best win is probably the Kevin Holland win in the UFC, of course. I think Kevin Holland is a much tougher matchup than Bo Nickel. I kind of saw the Bo Nickel thing. I don't mean to sound like a psychic here with my magic powers, but I felt like the Bo Nickel matchup was a little obvious. I didn't make a video on it because I'm a lazy fuck, but yeah, I feel like RDR's best win is Kevin Holland. And Robert Whittaker, we don't need no introduction. He's the Reaper, man. The Reaper's gonna touch you, man. Yeah, so I feel like these odds are a little bit disrespectful, honestly, and I'm gonna be betting a lot on said Reaper. Now, before we get on to the actual me yapping and breaking down this fight, I just want to mention, did we forget that this happened? Look at these odds, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Whittaker was only on minus 115 against Ikram Alaskarov. 115. This is before the Chamaya fight, mind you. What crack was everyone smoking, including myself? When I saw this fight, I was a little scared because I bought into the hype train of Ikram. Everyone's like, oh, Ikram's gonna run through Robert Whittaker on this short notice fight. I don't hate Ikram, but there's no reason why he should be a minus 105 against Robert's fucking 115 here. That makes no sense whatsoever. And the fight played out in probably the best way it could. Robert knocks him out in the first round. He stuns him on the feet, follows up with an uppercut, and hits him with his pillow hands, ground and pound, and wins the fight. This was probably the best situation for Robert Whittaker, and we were thinking that he was gonna have a close fight with Ikram. Oh, the wrestling might be too much. I honestly do think that Ikram is probably a better fighter than RDR, if I'm being honest. I know it's still, Ikram's career still early on. He fought Andre Muniz and got a TKO win. Okay, but that's Andre Muniz. I think that Ikram would make it really competitive with RDR and even win. Styles make matches, or whatever they say. I'm a little autistic, so I don't remember what they say, but they say something along those lines. Styles make matchups, matchups make fights. I have a little CT. I'm like BJ Penn. I just want to reiterate, are we forgetting that this fight happened, ladies and gentlemen? Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Alaskarov, and how close people thought it was, because they undermined Robert Whittaker's striking. We all know he's an elite striker, and I think we're doing that again with the RDR fight. We're undermining his actual striking, and that's, I think, it's what's going to make the fight. I don't think the wrestling is going to be as much of a problem as everyone else makes it out to be, because I think, actually, I'm gonna be yapping too much, but I'm just gonna say real quick, Chamaya did something to Robert Whittaker that I don't think RDR is gonna be able to do, because that's fucking Chamaya, the fucking long beard. He kind of looks like a leprechaun, or he looks like an Amish person. Chamaya, he looks like an Amish Russian fucking, I don't want to say inbred. He doesn't look inbred like some of the other guys, but anyways, let's move on. I think the biggest reason why a lot of people, as I've seen in comment sections, picking RDR to absolutely demolish Robert Whittaker is because of the Bo Nickel hate train. Everyone hates Bo Nickel right now, and for pretty good reason. The stuff he's been saying, I personally hate him too. And so when I saw the fight RDR Bo Nickel, I was, as soon as RDR had him against the fence and was starting to punch and Bo Nickel was starting to wheeze and quince, I was doing the Flight Reacts tongue face, bro, because I knew that something was about to happen and that he was about to get knocked out, which he did. With that being said, I think a lot of people are betting on RDR to beat Robert Whittaker is because of the Bo Nickel hate train. At the end of the day, we still have to remember that this is Bo Nickel. Going from Bo Nickel to Robert Whittaker, former champion, fucking NCAA Penn State wrestler whose last win was against Paul Craig. We're going again. RDR is jumping up from Bo Nickel all the way up to Robert Whittaker. That's like the coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb debate. Like, he's taking a massive step up. He's never fought anyone like Robert Whittaker. What I think is happening is that people are hating on Bo Nickel way too much, and that hate, well, it's justified hate. What I think is happening is the hate train on Bo Nickel, which RDR has now taken into his own hype train, and he's moving forward with it. It's getting all caught up in the Robert Whittaker. It's like the same thing with, not really, but the hype kind of in the same sense. It's the same thing with like Shara Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page, which I predicted earlier on this channel. Everyone just caught up on the hype train of Shara. No one looks at Michael Venom Page. Michael Venom Page just pieces up on the feet for 3 rounds. A lot of people just bought on the hype train of RDR, and honestly, I don't see it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do something a little cool, something a little special that I'm a little proud of making. Let's go over Robert Whittaker's 3 losses, his most recent 3 losses, and let's compare it to RDR's most recent 3 wins. So we're comparing the downs of Robert Whittaker against the ups of RDR. And I think that Robert Whittaker's lows are better than RDR's highs, if that makes sense. I know I sound a little special speaking out that sentence out loud, but you kind of understand what I mean in a second here. Alright, so I already talked a little bit about the Chamaya fight real quick. One thing I want to point out during this fight, a lot of people are saying that, oh, Chamaya went in there, broke Robert Whittaker's jaw, left. Rob had a shit jaw before that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glazing a little bit, I know. Let me do my Reaper glaze, then I'll move on. But he had a bad jaw for quite a while. I remember in the Duplessis fight, he said that he had a bad jaw as well. And Chamaya basically just, he probably didn't know about the jaw. I would assume he didn't know that Robert Whittaker had a weak jaw, but he essentially put some pressure on it, and then it cracked. The fight was over before. Man, I really wish we got to see that fight in full, though. If Robert Whittaker didn't have a shit jaw, I don't think Chamaya would be able to do that, and I would like to see what would happen next. But nonetheless, he got face cranked, lost the fight versus Chamaya. I don't think RDR, like I said earlier, is going to be able to do the same thing that Chamaya did to him. I mean, RDR, he's from the Netherlands, y'all. I don't think he's going to be able to do the same thing as a scary Russian inbred like Chamaya. No, I said he wasn't inbred. Anyways, moving on, we're going to talk about the Duplessis loss. Now, this is the only one that I can give credit to and say, oh, it was kind of bad, right? I don't think, I think this was, Robert Whittaker kind of has a tendency to try to make it too pretty on the feet. Kind of like Leon Edwards, not in the same, like, severity of Leon Edwards, but he makes it too pretty on the feet at times. He likes to keep it nice and technical, likes to keep the battle. Duplessis like, oh, fuck that, man, I'm gonna go swinging. So he swung, caught Robert Whittaker, got him against the fence, knocked him out. Bad loss for Robert Whittaker. It was a bad day to be a Whittaker fan, man. And I mean, that's the only low point of all his losses. I don't think the Chamaya loss was too bad, because it was kind of, we didn't get to see what actually would have happened. And I don't want to say it's a fluke, because that kind of discredits Chamaya, but it kind of was, right? If he didn't go for a face cut, I think if he went for a rear naked choke, it would have went a lot longer. I think Robert Whittaker would have been able to slime his way out. He has good takedown defense. He has solid jiu-jitsu. I think he would have managed himself for a bit longer, at least, like 2 or 3 minutes longer. He might have even slipped out when round 2, but I'm getting carried away here. I'm not going to stop the Robert Whittaker glaze, because now we're going to talk about him versus Adesanya 2, his 3rd most recent loss. Yeah, I thought Robert Whittaker won this fight. I thought he won rounds 3, 4, and 5. You can watch the fight back if you would like. Some judge scored at 49-46 Adesanya, which, are you high? But it is what it is. It was striking for the most part. I think Robert Whittaker got the better out of Adesanya, and this is, give or take, prime Adesanya, right? Robert Whittaker was outstriking Adesanya, and I think Robert Whittaker did better than Adesanya in the rematch. And I mean, I still think we're undermining Robert Whittaker's striking. A lot of these new people coming in, being like, oh, Robert Whittaker's he's just all right at everything. No, he has elite striking, bro. If you say Adesanya has elite striking, which I think the general consensus is that he does, maybe not right now after his last loss to Imavov, But as of fairly recent, people have been undermining Robert Whittaker's striking. No, his striking is amazing. Probably top 3 in middleweight. I'd probably go, I don't know where I put him actually. There's quite a few good strikers. But he's definitely top 3 in the middleweight division right now for strikers. And also, I think we're undermining the fact he's top 5, right? He's top 5 in the list. I don't know where he's at. I think he's number 4 or number 3 right now, ranked in the division, but he's really high up there. Also, I think a lot of people they look at Robert Whittaker in 2025 and they see old man Robert Whittaker maybe not able to keep up. This guy's only 34. He's been around forever, like Max Holloway, right? Where he's taken a lot of fights. He's had a lot of experience. He's taken some losses. He's taken some wins. He's went on that run. He has a lot of experience, but he's still young. I think Robert Whittaker at least has like 3 or 4 more fights. He might retire early, but I think he has quite a lot still in the tank. And people are acting like this is his retirement fight and he's going to go out. No, he's only 34, y'all. Give or take, still kind of in the prime when it comes to MMA. 34 is, I'd say, in the prime still. Getting on the later side of the prime, but give or take still in the prime, right? Alright, now let's compare it to Audiyar's 3 most recent wins. And they've been his last 3 fights. So I think we're going to go from least recent to most recent. Gerald Meerschaert. Oh my goodness. If you guys watch this fight, Audiyar looked like my epileptic grandma swatting flies in the basement. I don't have an epileptic grandma, but if I did, that's what Audiyar would look like in this fight. Was not very good kickboxing. It looked like he'd never stepped in a kickboxing gym in his life. Now, mind you, I'm not a kickboxing aficionado, but you know, when I see sloppy toppy striking, I kind of, you can notice it, right? It was against Gerald Meerschaert. Not really the toughest of competitions, but he got the job done. It was 1-1 on the judges' scorecards. Round 3, he goes out there and subs Gerald Meerschaert. This striking, people forget, man. People forget, man, about this striking performance from Audiyar. Watch the fight over and tell me if this is some guy who can hang on the level of Robert Whittaker. Going up, we have the Kevin Holland fight. There wasn't much striking in this matchup. If I recall, Audiyar subbed him in round 1. But that's Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's kind of given up nowadays. He's still dangerous, right? Kevin Holland's still dangerous. But if you push him into the territory where he doesn't know, he just kind of gives up his back and let Audiyar choke him out. It was in an arm triangle. I can't remember. I'm kind of retarded. But Audiyar, nonetheless, submitted Kevin Holland. And now we have the Bo Nickel win. I talked about the Bo Nickel win earlier, so we're going to go over it a little bit quickly. But I still think that Kevin Holland win that Audiyar has is better than the Bo Nickel win. Because Bo Nickel, he's got the wrestling, but even that, we kind of learned that the American style of wrestling does not work that well in MMA. The Olympic NCAA kind of wrestling. I wrestle, right? And it's tough. That shit's tough. It's impressive that you do it, but it doesn't really convert that well when it comes to MMA. Take like Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo rarely even used his wrestling, his Olympic background level wrestling in MMA. Same with Yoel Romero. Olympic wrestler. Didn't he use his wrestling that much? He was mainly a striker. Henry Cejudo, mainly a striker. So I don't think the wrestling converts as well as people think. So when you see Audiyar, he was on the ground, he was wrestling with Bo Nickel. Well, that's just experience. He was able to thrive because of his experience in MMA. Bo Nickel, I think he only has like 8 or 9 professional fights. So people are like making it out to seem like, Audiyar is this incredible level wrestler. He's good on the ground, but he's not incredible like a Chamaya. And this is coming back to my point I mentioned a couple minutes earlier. Audiyar is not Chamaya. He's not going to be able to fucking shoot a double leg in the first 10 seconds of the round, take the back of Robert Whittaker, and submit him. No, this is going to be a very tough night for Mr. Audiyar here. I also want to point out, a lot of people have been comparing Audiyar to Dricus du Plessis in the sense that they're both really goofy, right? But they're not the same kind of goofy. We look at Dricus du Plessis, he charges forward with his blitz, head down, he falls and gets takedowns. He does rolling thunders and pianos fall on the heads, and he paints a tunnel on the cage, and then his opponents run into it thinking it's like somewhere where they can go. That's the kind of level that Dricus is at. He has plot armor, he finds every way to win. Audiyar also has plot armor, but it's not to the same degree. He doesn't have the dangerous striking of Dricus du Plessis. He has sloppy striking. He doesn't have dangerous. He doesn't hit that hard, is what I'm trying to say. And he's not going to be able to plot armor his way through Robert Whittaker. He's much slower as well, which I don't think is going to do him too good when he's facing someone sharp and technical like Robert Whittaker. He's also very fast on the feet. I will say RDR does have better ground game than Dricus, I do think. But that's because he mainly relies on his ground game, right? What? 2 submissions, 1 knockout. The 1 knockout being over Bo Nickel. I know RDR's ground game is good, but I don't think it's at the level of Robert Whittaker. Now that I've bitched and moaned about this fight for long enough, I think it's good to finally let you guys off with a little prediction of how I think this fight's gonna go. I have Robert Whittaker by round 2 TKO. I think round 1 is a little too soon for Robert Whittaker. I think that RDR is gonna be able. He's been around for a while, right? He's probably gonna get clipped with something. He's gonna get knocked down. He's gonna get right back up, and he's gonna try to wrestle. Robert Whittaker has great wrestling defense, takedown defense. I don't think RDR is gonna be able to secure it, or maybe for a second. You know, he's gonna get like a single leg for a second, get Robert down a little bit. You know how like in the Burns versus Morales fight, Burns got he got knocked down for a second, got back up, took down Michael Morales for like a split second, and then Michael Morales got back up. I think something like that is gonna play out, because Robert Whittaker is not known for having the best ground and pound and has a little bit of trouble finishing fights at times. So I think RDR is going to survive a round. It's going to be like a 10-9 Robert Whittaker. They're going to go to the second round, maybe about 2.5 minutes into the second round. Robert Whittaker is going to piece him up on the feet. I think he's going to hit his signature 1-2 head kick. He's going to stun RDR. He's going to find something through the boxing guard of RDR, and he's going to be able to clip him, knock him out. I don't think he's going to go out unconscious, because Robert Whittaker doesn't really kind of do that. Like Ikram was still conscious. I think it's going to be a TKO. RDR is getting brutally molested by the dangerous and vicious ground and pound of Robert Whittaker. RDR is going to be barely conscious, and Herbedean's going to come in a little bit too late, like he usually does, and he's going to stop the fight between Robert Whittaker and RDR just before RDR was going to get knocked out. And that's how it's going to go. Robert Whittaker's going to do his signature caveman chest thumps, whatever it's called, right? He's going to do that. He's going to scream, and he's going to call out. Who would be a good call out for Robert Whittaker? I would like to see, if this all plays out like I said it will, I think I'd like to see Robert Whittaker. I was going to say Kyle, but I think they're going to do Kyle Imavov for #1 contender. That's my guess. That's what I would do if I was Dana, but Dana's been on some crack recently, so you never know. If not, we could do Robert Whittaker Strickland. That's a little disrespectful for Robert Whittaker, but Robert Whittaker Strickland, winner gets right back in the title picture. I could see that happening. Those are my predictions for Robert Whittaker versus RDR. I urge you, please bet on this. I'm like 96% confident in this belt. The only way I see RDR winning is if Robert Whittaker slips on a banana peel that RDR threw into the ring. He gives up his back momentarily. They have a scramble. RDR gets an arm triangle and subs him. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I mean, it might, and I could be wrong. Maybe the octagon's made out of ice or something, and RDR has a pair of ice skates on, but I don't really see that happening. Appreciate y'all, and yeah, have a good day, you guys.